What's going on, everyone? I'm just a typical, average American here today to react and learn about current news in Norway. Because as an American, I never get to see Norwegian news here in the United States. So today, I'd like to take some time to learn about the current news and events happening in Norway right now that I otherwise would never get to hear about. So, with that being said, let's take a look, starting with frustrated farmers roared into town. Huh? What is this? Frustrated farmers? Like Norwegian farmers? What are these farmers angry about? They roared into town? What does that mean? What town exactly? I have so many questions about this. I have not heard anything about this. Frustrated farmers roared into town. Norway should have avoided noisy demonstrations, but angry farmers like those seen around Europe, since one of the country's most farmer friendly parties shares government power. I'm a little confused about this. So these are angry farmers around Europe? Are these farmers within Norway? Or is this in Norway? Sloppy politics and endless demands by farmers already wallowing in subsidy-led it led to messy protests in Oslo on Thursday. There are protesters in Norway, in Oslo. These are farmers. Oh yeah, look at this picture. Oh wow, they literally parked their farming equipment in the city roads, like in the streets. Wow. This is about annual funding negotiations? What on earth? So is this farmers in Norway protesting what, like funding? Wow. Farmers all over the country of Norway drove trucks and tractors into Oslo this week. Oh, they're demanding higher income. Oh, higher income. Is that just mean like how much they can sell their crops for? Like does the Norwegian government control how much money Norwegian farmers make? Is that how it works? Norway's rural oriented center party wound up as a target of farmer frustration. Okay. What the? So did this come to any sort of conclusion? Look at this. Wow, they've got signs and everything. I don't know what any of this means. It's all in Norwegian. Noreg treng færre bonder. No idea. Does that mean like more money? More money for our corn? I don't know. The angry and frustrated farmers set up hay bales and gathered outside Parliament. You know, I gotta say, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but there are a lot of protests at Norwegian Parliament. I remember the Sami protesters protesting windmills and wind turbines. And now there's farmers protesting in Parliament of Norway. There's always a protest, it sounds like. Which, it's nice that Norwegian people feel like they can protest, and that's their right. The signs say Norway needs more farmers. Wow. And demonstrators spread manure. They spread poop, manure, but they mostly cleaned it up themselves later. Oh, that's good. That even the protests in Norway are more respectful than here in America. They spread manure, but they cleaned it up later. That's nice. Interesting. Was that part of the protest to make a statement, make it smell like poop? Oh my God. Farmers who operate as sole proprietors demand their income must be raised to the level of an average wage earner. Um, okay, that requires a plan for narrowing the gap between a farmer and a teacher or nurse. So the Norwegian government can help with this? Who pays the farmers in Norway? Is that a government thing? That's where I'm a little confused here. But if Norwegian farmers are having trouble surviving on their current wage, that is a problem, right? Like, farmers are very, very, very important. Very important industry. So you definitely want your farmers happy. I wonder if Norway can, like, find a budget to help them, or what? Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. This was a Norwegian farmer protest. Next we have the krone is weakening again, but Norway secures its use for cash payments. This is finance, financial mumbo jumbo. We won't spend too much time on this, but Norway's krone sank again in the weekend. That's never fun to hear, right? That your currency is devaluing. The American dollar has been going down in value, even though a lot of the world uses American dollars for trade. We're very lucky in that sense. Inflation has gotten pretty bad in the United States. So even the U.S. dollar is devalued a bit. And it seems to be happening to the krone as well in Norway. But Norwegians still use it, right? Cash remains important. So it's important to still use cash, the Norwegian krone for cash. Okay. Not too much of a news story there. Sort of like about the Norwegian economy, I guess. New restart for Norway's government. New restart? This has got my attention. How is the Norwegian government restarting? Norwegian Prime Minister Jonas Støre had to replace more of his ministers after yet another let him down. Yeah, like every week when we take a look at the Norwegian news, there's another story about a Norwegian minister getting fired for some kind of corrupt activity or something. Seems like a real problem in the Norwegian government. Is this finally going to be a new chapter? Is the Prime Minister really going to have a new restart now that another minister has been let go? He clearly hopes his new lineup can remain intact until next year's election. Oh, so there's an election next year. I don't know very much about Norwegian politics or elections, so that is next year. Very interesting. And I'm sure the current Norwegian Prime Minister wants to really save face and look good, because there's been a lot of controversy, I think, that he's trying to recover from. Støre was regarded as a brilliant foreign minister when NATO chief Jens Stoltenberg was Norway's prime minister. Støre faced challenges, scandals, disappointments, and criticism since becoming prime minister in 2021. He's been prime minister for a few years now. Are Norwegians happy with him? Or he's faced challenges, scandals, disappointment, and criticism. That's not good. What does the average Norwegian think about your prime minister? Are people upset with him? He's been viewed as a weak leader, but now he's had to replace half his cabinet over the last few years. That is not a good look. That is really not a good look. Maybe now he'll have a reliable team, but when you have to replace half of your staff, that's just not a good look, is it? Not at all. Maybe this is a new restart for Norway's government. We'll see. Okay, and then air traffic disrupted again? Air traffic? Again? When was air traffic disrupted in Norway? I learned about last week Norway had a lot of its trains disrupted. But now air traffic? Much of the airspace over northern Norway was closed down Friday afternoon because of a torn fiber cable in Bodo. The air traffic disruption follows another one the day before, when airspace was closed over southern Norway. Oh my god. See, this is the kind of stuff This is probably huge news in Norway, but we don't hear about any of this here in the United States. Oh my God. So this week, uh, air traffic, like airplanes, like if you had an airplane, if you had a trip traveled, if you had a trip planned to travel this Friday afternoon, it was canceled because of a fiber cable torn in Bordeaux. And this happened in southern Norway Thursday. Really? There weren't any takeoffs or landings in most airports in northern Norway. Oh my god, that must have ruined so many people's plans. Oh, that would be so annoying. The so called Firebrud affected air travel. Um, the state owned company responsible for 43 airports in Norway reported that all available resources were working to address the problem. Oh my gosh, Norway is getting very bad luck with a lot of these disruptions. First to the trains, now to the airports. This had happened on Thursday as well in southern Norway due to technical problems. They closed all airspace in southern Norway. Wow. A lot of flights going in and out of Oslo were canceled. Wow. Wow. And they had to were rebooking as best as we could. Okay. Um I could see a lot of people being really, really frustrated over this. Really frustrated. Anything else? There was no suspicions of sabotage targeting the fiber cables. This was a case of technical error. I'm sure Norwegians are getting very, very tired of hearing about technical errors. Um, you can only have so many technical errors until you're like, are you kidding me? Okay, so that's that article. Very interesting. Air traffic disrupted. Norway's government trying to stay out of drama. The krone is weakening. So are a lot of currencies around the world. Farmers are protesting in Oslo. What else do we have here? We have a few more articles. Here's one. Norway banned smartphones in schools and has been very good for young girls. Really? Is this actually a policy? Is this all over Norway? Norway banned smartphones in schools. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I understand. This is honestly probably something we should do in America because children these days have grown up their entire life with a smartphone. And with social media, and some of that is not very healthy. Like, it's hard to argue. Like, it's not healthy to be doing that all the time. I can only imagine how distracting smartphones must be in school. If if I had grown up in school with a smartphone, I would have been, oh my gosh, it would have been very hard for me to focus on school. But to ban it, Norway banned it, and it's been good for young girls. Why has it been good for young girls in particular? Norwegian government is spearheading an initiative to prohibit students from having smartphones in schools. Wow, that's big. Maybe it's the right move. This comes in the wake of studies demonstrating the positive impact of removing these devices from students' hands, allowing them to focus on learning. Wow. Girls made fewer appointments for psychological help. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Like, oh my god, it's sad to say, but having phones, especially when little children are on social media, um, I'm sure that can cause psychological issues. Growing up, seeing that kind of stuff, it's a lot for a child to take in and comprehend and process. So girls made fewer appointments for help. Drop in bullying. Right. Is this like cyberbullying? Or improved grades for girls? Now, I have no doubt this would improve grades. Oh, man. I'm just thinking about if they tried to do this in America. how much kids would protest and complain, but it would be so, so good for them. They should probably try this in America. They should test this. Like, I think Norway is very progressive and really is a leader in trying these sorts of policies. And I think it's the right decision. Man, banning smartphones in the beginning of a middle school improved GPAs and increased their chances of enrolling in academic-oriented high school track. Wow. It's been more significant on economically disadvantaged. Wow, 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 wow. Right, this is what you're doing all day. Just taking selfies instead of focusing on class. Yeah, I have to say, this sounds like a good idea. It's pretty extreme. But if Norway is doing it, it gives me a lot of hope that maybe other countries like America around the world will think about this. I like that. All right, and here we have King Harald of Norway to permanently reduce royal duties. Wow, following lengthy leave. Oh, this is an update on King Harald, who I know recently has had some health issues. He's been on leave. I think Prince Haakon has been filling in for him. And this is the first time hearing this. He is permanently reducing his duties. He said he does not intend to abdicate. Right. He has said that he never intends to quit being king, that he's a king for life. But he's going to reduce his duties. If he's not feeling healthy, that's probably the best decision. I know a lot of Norwegians really love the king, and so I think we all just want what's best for him. That's what most Norwegians would want. King Harald is making a change to his royal role. Norwegian royal house announced that the king, 87, will make a permanent reduction to his royal duties moving forward. Wow, it's kind of sad to hear, but kind of inevitable as well, given his health deteriorating really scary recently. The king will make adjustments to his program in the future out of consideration for his age. This will be a reduction in the number and scope of activities in which the king participates. Dang, man, that's sad to hear, because I know he's a very active guy, especially for his age, and he likes to be active in the Norwegian community. Norwegian royalty, I've learned, is very humble and very much like a common person. So I don't think he wants any special treatment, but he wants to do his duty to Norway, which is really admirable. This came on the same day that the king's 2-week sick leave ended. Okay, so he's back from sick leave? Back from sick leave, but he is reducing his duties. Okay. His Majesty has fallen ill on his holiday stay in Malaysia. He had an infection. I think he had a pacemaker put in. He's improving from his infection, getting good treatment. Okay. Yeah, he has a temporary pacemaker. Okay. Is that all the update? It sounds like he's back now. It sounds like the king is back in action now, which is really good to hear, but I didn't know that he was actually reducing his duties from now on. But if it's for his health, I think it's for the best. That's kind of sad to hear about, but maybe for the best. Anyway, I think that's all we have here for the news in Norway for this week. That was really interesting. That was a big variety of news. I had no idea that this was all going on in Norway. I think that's why I enjoy learning about this so much. So this was great. Anyway, if you enjoyed this as well, feel free to give this video a like or leave a comment with your thoughts on any of this Norwegian news here today. And if you're interested in more videos like this, me reacting to Norway and Norwegian culture and learning things about Norway, feel free to subscribe for more. And until then, thanks for watching and see you next time.